what you're asking is two different things.
Okay.
Yellow pages were advertising.
To
bring people to your business.
Gotcha.
And then the white pages were your listing.
So there are no more white pages.
How do you know so much? I go, well, we sell real estate.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And she goes, oh my goodness, I did not know that.
I look at a farm differently. I look at a farm as people. Being down here since 1986, you start to see sometimes that maybe, some things aren't the same as they used to. And
All right, everybody, welcome back to another great episode of the What's Next podcast. I'm your host, Levi Casada, and behind the scenes that takes control of everything is Tony, my man.
Yo.
How's it going, Tony?
I'm doing good, man.
You doing good?
I'm doing great. Excited for this podcast today.
I'm very excited for this podcast.
Yeah.
So I'm just going to let you know right now, I love doing this type of podcast.
Podcast?
I don't want to say it, but
Like more than two people?
More than two people.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you
it's
say that on
more
the
like
show?
engaging, right? More conversations and
Yeah.
different perspectives. I like it too.
Well, let's jump right into it.
All right, let's go.
This is one of my favorite power teams out there. They represent the San Diego East foothills. Is that correct?
That is
I
correct.
can say awesome. Well, please welcome Greg and Patti Fox with the Fox team.
thanks for having us.
Yeah. Thanks for coming out. And I'm not lying. I'm not joking when I say you're my favorite power couple.
That's okay. I'll give you your $20 in about 15 minutes.
Oh, okay.
We're good.
Well, I appreciate you losing to me at golf earlier. That's where I really wanted.
Well, first of all, it was shameful that you had to go practice before I got here.
I've been sweating just practicing all
my
day. I'm like,
God.
watch this. I'm going to put him on the spot and challenge him.
It's all good. It's
all right.
all good.
Roast.
We'll do it. It's not a roast.
It's not a roast, no.
Is that why you were practicing yesterday?
Exactly for this show.
Tony, I appreciate you standing out for me there. That was good.
I got you.
Well, welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you. I appreciate you being here.
Yeah. First podcast?
Actually, I think I've done one other podcast, but this would be the first one here with you.
Okay.
That's
perfect.
awesome.
Well, this is not like any other podcast.
Yeah, it's good.
It's about you two. Are you ready? There's no
Let's
wrong
do it.
answers.
Let's do it.
Okay, so I always start the show. This is my favorite part of the show is icebreakers. Would you rather?
Okay.
Okay, you guys ready? This is a couple's would you rather.
Oh, boy.
Ooh.
Oh boy.
Oh, boy. Here we go.
This won't get you in trouble. Remember, this could all be
Are we
edited out.
winning
So,
a trip?
what do we have for our lovely couple if they
Contender
win?
number one. Hey, that's a really good question.
Yeah,
I don't
we'll
know.
see. Yeah, we haven't had that question yet before. All right, so first question. This is a little icebreaker. Would you rather go on a romantic vacation to a secluded beach or a bustling city?
I'll definitely take the answer on that one. We definitely like to travel to
Are you
Caribbean
answering
style.
for
Yes.
her?
No, with her.
Oh, okay, you're
With
right.
her. I said, I'll take this one.
I'll take this one, okay.
I'll take this one. But no, we do like to go to more tropical locations.
Yeah.
We really are not the type of people that want to travel to a bustling city. We don't want to be with the crowds. We want to be out and relax a little bit and just kind of diffuse a little bit because we stay very, very busy in real estate. And so because of that, we want to have some space. And
Yeah,
I think
I
that
agree.
you lose that a little bit sometimes when you go to the big cities and you get around what everybody's got going on, whether it's going to museums and so on. So we like to just relax, grab a drink, enjoy ourselves, and
Go for a swim.
yeah.
There you go.
So what else do we like to do? Cruising.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Well,
like to
all of
go.
a sudden you're putting yourself in a smaller little city. But cruising's different. It's not like a crazy city. Because here's the thing with cruising is that you don't have to go to museums and stuff. Everything is a walk away from your
Right.
door, right? Like it's right there. And you can pick and choose.
Right. You know, and the interesting thing is we used to, when the kids were very, very young, we used to go on Disney cruises. And I'll be honest with you, probably one of the best cruise lines in the world. By far. The food, the service, the shows, the ambiance, everything that you could possibly think of that Disney does, you get it on that Disney cruise.
Really?
And as the kids have gotten older, they've wanted a little bit more adventure. And so we've had to kind of step away from Disney. It doesn't mean they don't want to go on Disney again, but we've moved on to other cruise lines like Royal Caribbean where they offer a lot more activities.
Yeah.
Rock walls, zip lining, bumper cars, you name it. I mean, they got a little bit of everything
No,
that's
they
going
don't.
on.
Bumper cars?
Bumper cars.
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Yeah, the ice skating, the zip lines.
It's a lot.
And those ships, the big ones,
Yeah.
are so big, you really don't feel like you're with 5,000 people.
Really?
Yeah,
You're
it's
talking
awesome.
me into going. I'll go with you guys next time.
Highly recommend.
Okay. I haven't. I've been, I'm a little worried
Any-
about getting seasick. You don't get seasick?
No.
Nobody gets seasick? Okay.
No.
Any storms that you have?
You know, we've actually been through some inclement weather, but the thing about it is that we always request a room that's in the middle of the ship. So just think of it as a teeter-totter. What part of the teeter-totter doesn't move?
Yeah, the
middle.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So if you put yourself closer to the middle, then you really aren't going to have too much issues with the boat rocking, and
Gotcha.
it'll be nice.
Well, and the captain tries to keep you out any of that.
Right. They see it all coming. Yeah.
Yeah,
it's all,
they do know because we were going through the Panama. Katrina hit,
Oh, dang.
so we skipped a port,
Yeah.
and they definitely kept us
Yeah.
from some of it.
Have you ever been on an excursion off the boat? Like they take you on a smaller boat to
Oh, yeah.
To an island and stuff.
an island? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we've actually done things that are maybe just a little bit one-off. We used to actually do the excursions that the cruise lines wanted you to be on.
Yeah.
And we had some folks that were on a cruise, and they said, hey, why don't you guys do your own cruises and your own excursions and figure out what you want to do and get there first? And we said, we're listening. What does that mean? And they said, well, you already know what the cruise ship is going to be doing. And if there's things that are interesting to you, then go down to the dock, talk to the cab drivers, tell them what you want to do, get a price from them, and then go with them for the day. You'll be out there first, and you'll get back first.
Yeah.
And the price will be a lot less than what the cruise ship charges. And so we did that, and we actually had great luck with that. We've gone to locations in St. Lucia where we've actually had a tour guide that took us to a personal property that belonged to his family and jumped up into a tree and pulled down not only coconuts, but star fruit and a few other things. And it was just an excursion that you wouldn't have gotten had you done it through the actual ship.
Yeah.
So
He took us to their markets, which were a little interesting.
Yeah. He knows all the local spots though. So that's
Right.
Yeah.
that's your next video, a hack
a hack.
when you're on the cruise ships.
Yeah.
I want to see that, guys.
Yeah,
Well,
There's a
we definitely- we
here's
can
your
do
hack.
that.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah, don't go from the cruise stuff. All right, that was one question. All right, next question. You're going to answer this one, Patty, for me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, would you rather go on a spontaneous adventure or have a cozy night in? You don't have to answer for both of you.
I want to hear this one.
Yeah, it's up to you.
You know what?
This is what you
I
like.
think spontaneity at this point in my life.
Really?
Yes. You know, the kids are going to be out of the house here shortly.
Good for you.
And
Lucky me.
so
Is
you know
that
what? There's life, and I want to
Yeah.
live.
Yeah.
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit on the couch. That's how
Right.
you get old. Like
Exactly.
there's a world out there to see and
Yeah.
to enjoy. So
Right.
I think definitely. Greg and I have tried new restaurants. Just okay, let's try a random place, just to mix things up.
What's your new favorite place?
Different cultures. I mean, it's kind of a toss-up right now, but I mean, we went to, because I told Patty I really do enjoy lumpia, which is more of the Filipino culture.
Right.
And she took it to heart and actually found a restaurant for us up off of Miramar Road. And we went to that restaurant, and it was fantastic. We had lumpia. We had all
Give 'em a little
kinds of...
plug. What do you know? Remember the place, the name?
Oh,
never mind.
I don't. The kitchen?
The kitchen? That sounds
I
familiar.
don't know if that was the
Trying to think
true
where
name of
was.
it.
Is it a small?
But it's literally right across the street from the golf course that they have up at the military base
base.
there at Miramar.
Oh, okay.
And it's just in one of the tiny little strip centers that they have there. But the food was fantastic. The waiters that we had that day were fantastic.
And at night, it's a disco.
It's a
A
club.
little,
Yeah,
little
it's a
dance,
club.
a little
Yeah.
disco.
Yes, it is.
You can see they move everything to the side.
That's cool.
And,
Did you stay?
We did not.
No.
Oh,
no,
that's
no,
the
we
next
just-
adventure.
We had a time
A time slot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was good. But
Yeah.
so the Filipino food, we tried that panini kebab place just to try a little different Mediterranean food and see
That
how
was
that
good.
was.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic. So
we
we're
did a
re-
speakeasy up in UTC.
Now that was
Oh,
amazing.
the
my
Raised by
gosh.
Wolves.
Yes.
That's my favorite place right now.
Okay,
Oh my
so
gosh.
we fell onto that on Easter Sunday just by habit. We went up to UTC Mall and we were just going to walk around, check things out, doing the things that people would normally do
Yeah.
after they're done with their Easter festivities. I was like, wow, that's a really pretty front to that store. Let's step in.
Yeah,
And I didn't know what Raised by Wolves was. So we stepped in and I thought, my God, this place is just an overpriced liquor store. And then all of a sudden I watched a couple of people sit down by what looked like a fireplace.
Yeah.
And then the whole wall spun around and I was like,
What is
really?
back there?
Are you kidding me? We just fell into a speakeasy. Now this is where Easter is going to go.
Yep.
This is fantastic. And wow, that place is amazing.
Isn't it? And you don't realize how big it is until you get in there and you're like, this is back here?
Yeah.
It's incredible.
Yeah,
Were you able to get in pretty easy then?
we were. So the person was actually super nice. What did they tell us, Patty? That we had about an hour and 15 minutes.
Yeah.
Wait.
How long were we
No.
there?
No, we didn't
No.
wait at all.
No.
Oh,
We got
once
right
you
in.
sit down, they give you kind of a time.
That's
yeah,
right.
Yeah. That's right.
And so they said basically, hey, in about an hour and 15 minutes, we're going to need you guys to get up so we can move this on to somebody else. And
Yeah.
we're like, yeah, no problem, whatever. And how long were we there?
Close the place down.
No, we didn't close it down.
No, we didn't
but-
close it down, but we really did enjoy the whole, flavor of the place. I mean, the dark wood,
Yeah.
the library feel to it,
The lamps.
the round bar, the lamps.
Yeah, you could look at that place forever and find something new.
Yeah.
Well, and just to see the different alcohols that we've never seen.
Right.
There was one that he said, "Okay, what do you guys drink?" So I don't remember the name of it, but the alcohol content was pretty high.
Yeah. So, I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, but I mean, so the bartenders actually do want to tailor the drinks that they think you might like
Right.
that aren't on the menu. And so they ask you and they said, okay, so what do you like? And I said, I typically like rum drinks.
Yeah.
They said, hey, we've got some stuff out of Jamaica right now that is going to blow your mind. And I said, do it. Make me a drink with it. And they did. And it's pretty amazing.
It's pretty, yeah.
It was pretty
strong.
amazing. Yeah.
Now you're-
Well, it wasn't just strong. It was the flavor of the rum.
Yeah.
There is a difference between the flavors of the rum. And so that was
Was it a dark
fantastic.
rum?
It was a darker rum.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it was awesome.
Now you drink vodka. So do they have vodka drinks there? I don't think they do in speakeasies, right? Like that wasn't a thing back in the day.
You know what? I tried a couple of them that were on the menu.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
Because I'm game. I mean, that's
Yeah, that's why you go there. Yeah, try
right.
something new.
Yeah.
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 Like, okay.
I
They were
love
all
it.
fancy.
So it was
They had the best ice, too. It was
best
kinda-
ice?
Yeah, because
yeah.
it's
Especially
it's
because
not that hard.
I had the one, but then I also asked them to make me the old fashions.
Yeah.
And they used the beautiful,
Cube.
whiskey rock
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
on there. It was beautiful. Absolutely. A great drink.
Well, they do
So,
a great job. And
yeah.
so spontaneous. I love it. I love that you guys are adventurous now and getting out there.
Yep.
Okay, so the next one I was going to use this one, but you guys have already talked about it, going to a new place. Would you rather watch a movie at home or go to a cinema?
Okay, so this one, as much as I would like to watch it at home, you just don't get the effect of the movie unless you get to the
100%.
theater. Just being in that movie theater and having the surround sound and the Dolby and everything else that's going on in the movie that's in much better quality than what I'm getting on my TV, I will go to a movie all day long.
Yeah. I miss, and I thought about this when I saw this question. I miss packed movie theaters. I'm sorry. I don't know why. Like there's just some kind of nostalgia when we would actually have to wait in line. Like you would
Right.
show up early to get a ticket to a main feature the first day. My daughter's really into Marvel, so all these new Marvel movies that come out, I'm like, okay, I'll meet you there from work, but you guys have to get in line really early. And then my wife's like, are you serious? I'm like, yeah, because it's going to be like just in my mind, that's just how they always were. Star
Right.
Wars, Marvel, anything that's a big feature, we're always like, you wait in line outside. And I get there and they took a video and it's just them three in line and there's no one behind them. I was like, sorry. And there's like 5 people in the theater. I'm like, on opening night, like,
and you pick your seat.
and you pick your seat. Like
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind the pick the seat the part now, but I do miss the whole like going out and doing the theater.
You know what? What I found is that a lot of people were going to the movies. Then we had our pandemic, and unfortunately, the pandemic still scares people.
Yeah.
And so, because there's still talk about it on TV, in the radio stations, and so on, some people just feel more comfortable just watching movies at home. And again, they're losing the experience of going out. People are still okay with people wearing masks. If that's what you want to do, wear your mask, go enjoy your movie. But we still find that a lot of people just won't do it. They're just scared. So
Yeah.
unfortunately for myself, I don't have that fear. I want to go out and I want to have the experience, kind of like with the question about, the restaurants, and are you guys willing to try the different restaurants and foods that are out there? And for my wife and I, it's all about it. It's
Yeah.
about living our life right now, not living in fear, but living. And that's where we're at in our business. That's where we're at in our lives. And that's what we're trying to instill in our kids.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Well, let's talk about that. Let's go deeper here. So are you both from California?
I am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
You're more Northern California. It's okay. It's very hard to find information on you, Patty. I'm just letting you know that right now. Your Facebook needs a little work. You have a little bit more information, so
I do.
I could do a little bit more research. But yeah, so you're more in Northern California, by Oakland.
yeah, so I'm from a small town, and I actually grew up as a foster kid in Laguna Hills. So I had a great upbringing. I had a foster home that was in Southern Orange County, great place to be raised as a kid.
Really?
And then was fortunate enough to be adopted by a single parent who was the head football coach and the head wrestling coach at the high school I would later attend. And that high school was Alameda High School, which was up in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it is literally an island. It is surrounded by water in the San Francisco Bay Area. And it is hooked on to other cities by bridges or an underwater passageway called the Webster Street Tunnel. And so that gets you into areas like Oakland. They have ferries that take you over to San Francisco, and it is an island that's about 2.5 miles wide by 5 miles long. Used to have a military base on it, a Navy base. At one end of it, that was nuclear, and it was a great island to grow up on. I mean, probably per capita, has more police officers than anywhere I've ever been in my life.
Really?
Yeah, so if you're going to run a stop sign, you're pretty much going to get pulled over. But as a kid growing up, it was a great place to be because they really didn't harass the kids too much. We'd ride our bikes from one end of the island to the other. Sometimes we'd blow through on our bicycles, praying that we don't get hit. But, it was just the easier way to travel. So it's kind of funny. There's a little story behind that. I didn't get my driver's license until I was 17 because there was no reason to have a driver's license on an island when you could ride a bike faster than a car.
Right.
So
everything stopped and you're just zooming past everybody.
That's exactly right. So that's where I grew up.
Patti, where'd you grow up?
In La Mesa.
In La Mesa?
Yeah.
Nice.
I was born up in L.A. My parents had moved. They're both San Diego natives, and my parents moved up to L.A. for a short jaunt, about 2 years, I think.
Yeah.
My dad had a Jack in the Box built for him, and then some things happened up in L.A. and they moved back.
Well, good. Yeah. You're back here.
Grew up in La Mesa, loved it. Totally changed now.
Yeah.
I used to be able to ride my bike everywhere, and
that was the way to travel.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so I know I didn't live on an island, but I definitely rode my bicycle.
Yeah.
Unlike Greg, I got my license when I turned 16.
I know. The day of for me too.
day of.
My parents were like, "You're getting your license. We're not driving you around anymore." Here it is. So then you moved down here after high school to go to
So I was
University of
fortunate
San
enough
Diego.
to get an offer from the University of San Diego to play football, and I did. So I came down in 1986 and played football at the University of San Diego, joined fraternity Phi Kappa Theta. Shout out to my brothers out there.
Attaboy.
But more importantly than that, just really had a great college experience, met a lot of great people, a lot of great contacts to have out of college, and really just got to know a lot of people in San Diego and knew that this was really the place that I wanted to live. Yeah. And so I told my dad at one point in time, I just said, hey, I know that you enjoy Northern California. This is where your passion is at. You're a coach. You like to help kids. You're a life coach with kids.
Right.
But I like warm weather. And so I'm not coming home. And I stayed in San Diego. And it actually turned out to be a pretty fantastic move for me because, again, I look around right now and I feel truly blessed by not only my wife and my kids, but I feel blessed by the business that we're able to have on a daily basis and live in this great place, called San Diego. However,
where's this going?
Being down here since 1986, you start to see sometimes that maybe, some things aren't the same as they used to, and you just have to pivot. I mean, you really just have to change a little bit. But all in all, if you're looking across the United States, it really is the greatest place to live.
You can't beat our
You can't beat it.
There's no way.
Yeah.
And the fact that we can go to the beach, go to the mountains,
anywhere. You can go
half
see
an hour, 45
snow,
minutes.
wineries,
Hiking, horseback riding, mountain biking, motorcycle riding. I mean, you name it. It has everything that you could possibly want to do, and the weather lends itself to it. I know we had a cold winter, but so did everybody else in the United States.
Right.
So
wait, are we still in winter right now?
I would
okay,
we'll get out of it. We'll get out of it.
Well, wait a minute, Patty. You have to agree with me on this. While everybody else is still suffering from the winter, what was it like when we left home today? It was nice and sunny.
Oh, yeah.
So when you live in Alpine, I will say we live in Alpine, California, and the nice thing about it is that most of the clouds settle in at the lower part of our foothills and never make it into Alpine.
Really?
Yes.
You guys have seen sunshine?
We have about 320 days of sunshine a year.
Oh, my goodness.
So do the math. It's about 45 days. It's kind of inclement, rainy, whatever.
Yeah.
But we really do. We live in a great place. So if you need solar, no, I don't sell solar, but it's a great place to have a solar system because it definitely works.
Well, tell me, so everybody's probably wondering what the love story here. When did this all begin? Wait, who wants to tell the story? Are there two versions to the story, though, is the question.
I'll let Patty explain it.
Okay. Patty, where did you meet this guy?
At Coldwell Banker.
Coldwell Banker,
right
Mission,
down the
Hotel
street.
Circle.
Hotel. So you guys were already in the industry.
Yeah. So I was a lender for about 9 years, almost a full 9 years. When I actually met Patty, at that point in time, she was a newer agent in that Mission Valley office, and She obviously is a beautiful girl.
Of course.
Look at her.
Look at her.
For God's
Look at that
sakes.
smile.
I don't mean to make her jealous or
Jeez.
anything, but man,
Right?
yeah, I always tell people, best closing I had in real estate
Oh boy.
Till this day.
to this
To
day.
this day.
Oh boy. I guess I'm gonna have to be nice to him.
There you go.
So anyways, we both were coming out of relationships, and it was really kind of funny and ironic and interesting that the office was like, Patty, Greg, I think you guys should actually go out on a date. And so we did. So
Really?
yeah, we went out.
Oh, yeah.
We saw our first movie, which is ironic that you asked about the movies. Our first movie was to Titanic, and that
Okay.
was obviously
Did you
a very
cry?
romantic. I didn't cry, but I definitely
Patty,
felt.
did you cry?
I definitely felt.
No, he
It was-
called me Rose.
I did call her Rose. I did. That was just one of those
You
things.
know what? It is. And I laugh
Yes.
because I've done some cheesy stuff too, but
Yes.
it's we've all done some cheesy stuff to get out there. But
What do you mean cheesy?
it wasn't cheesy.
That was romantic.
Romantic cheesy. But he knew exactly what he
I
was
knew,
doing.
I
He knew
knew.
exactly what he was doing. That's what I mean. Like it wasn't
So the next time, you're
my
went out,
rose to get the kiss. Was this the first date?
Actually, that was our first date, and our second
Okay.
date was actually Presidio Golf.
Yeah.
Nice.
And it was ironic because we were just getting to know. We were already friends at the office,
Yeah.
and now we're getting to know each other, obviously, in a more intimate level. And so we went out to play golf, and the day that we went out to play golf, it's pouring down rain, and so we got stuck under a really big tree that had an awesome umbrella to it, and so we just sat under there and just talked and got to know each other better.
I think you kissed me.
Something like that happened
Something
too.
like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on, Rain.
That's
Come
right.
on, it was rainy.
Yeah, it's
you know.
all right. It was like that's like a
It's
love
perfect
story.
moment.
It's straight up
right
like
there.
that. It's straight up like that song. You can't blame it on the rain.
Yeah.
No, don't.
Attaboy.
Yeah.
There you
So,
go.
anyways, that was our first and our second date, and from there, I'm not going to get into too many other things other than the fact that we have a 22-year-old son and a 18-year-old daughter.
Yep.
So our son just graduated from San Diego State. His name is Devin, and our daughter Faith just graduated Steel Canyon High School and is now heading off to the University of Alabama. Roll Tide.
Roll Tide. Well, congratulations. I mean,
Thank
you
you.
do have a beautiful family, and
Thank you.
just everything is just aligning. That's amazing.
Super blessed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, how long have you been married then? So, 22 years plus.
So go ahead. So we got married October 26, 2002.
Okay.
And so we've actually been married. This is going on 21 years.
21 years.
And
They couldn't find that on Facebook, so I didn't know.
married
I'm
for
so
21
sorry.
years, engaged for 3 years.
Gotcha.
Instagram.
Yeah, find it on Instagram.
Oh, that's on
You've been on
Instagram. I had to go
Instagram.
all the way down.
That's an
Gotcha.
Instagram moment.
Okay.
But no, together we've been together for almost 25 years now.
Okay.
So yeah, it's almost a quarter of a century.
Congratulations.
Pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I was a little comedophobic.
Were you?
Mm-hmm. It absolutely was. And then we had two parents. My mom and his dad both had cancer. So things,
okay.
things
Yeah.
happened, but it's all good. We're still here.
You're still here. You know.
Well, it just
yeah.
just didn't make the marriage at that moment the priority.
Right.
Having our parents actually going through their battles with their cancers. They had 2 different types of cancers. My dad had bone marrow cancer.
At the same time.
Yes. And Patty's mom then came down with colon cancer.
Oh my goodness.
And so we were dealing with 2 parents, both that we loved very much,
Yeah.
that both ended up fighting for their lives. And unfortunately today, we definitely don't have either one of them here, but they are missed. And,
Yeah.
and I know that our kids talk about her mom a little bit because Devin was around when her mom was here, but unfortunately my dad didn't get a chance to see his first grandson and obviously didn't get to see his granddaughter. But
Yeah.
but her mom did get a chance to spend some good quality time with our son, and that was pretty awesome.
That was awesome.
That is
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that's amazing that,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't even know where to go from there. That's
Well,
just-
the
yeah.
reality is it's life. I mean,
I know.
that's kind of like why Patty
It's-
and I right now are looking at life a little bit differently.
Yeah.
We're trying to figure out, okay, where do we go from here?
Right.
How do we make our business a little bit more successful? How do we work our business better? How do we have a stronger relationship with each other? How do we, as parents, continue to be parents, but allow our kids to be adults?
Right.
So it's taken us into a lot of different changes and a lot of different things that we're going to have to grow into as we move forward in the next stage of our life too. So it's not like it's written. It's not a script. It's
100%.
something that's being written
Yeah.
as we go along. And I don't know, I'm kind of looking forward to it because I do tremendously like to spend time with Patty and going and traveling and doing things like that.
Well, that bonds you too. And you
Yeah.
guys, to go through that together is just to have someone. Because to go through it when you're not with someone that's so special to you is a lot tougher too. I think having each other and going through that moment, it's tough.
Well, and I think in the last couple of years, we've seen so many people pass away.
Yeah.
And I don't want to go sad, but I mean,
Yeah.
It makes you kind of realize like tomorrow's not
100%.
It's not 100%. So you've got to. So that's why it's like, oh, I'm ready to try new things.
Yeah.
Right.
And now that we won't have our kids, it'll be so much easier
Right.
to say, okay.
You don't die with your money either. Like go and enjoy life.
Right.
I tell people all the time.
Yeah.
You cannot take it with you.
I know.
Get out and enjoy life. Spend an extra $1 or $2. I mean,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Turn your air on. Like,
yeah. Well, what made you guys get into this business? Were you doing something before real estate or did you jump into it? I know you said you were kind of working since 1988.
Well, I was because I started out when I was going to the University of San Diego. There was actually a posting up on the job board at the University of San Diego that said that Wells Fargo was looking for loan officers to train that were in college, that were going to school for business, whatever it was, but they just wanted to train younger loan officers and then get them prepared through their home loan hotline, which was actually down in Mission Valley as well, over by where Bally's used to be and where El Torito and Benihana's is at. It was on that street. It was really an opportunity. A buddy of mine, I didn't even see the posting. A buddy of mine saw it and said, hey, let's go down and see if we can't get jobs there. And I was like, that'd be fantastic because I'm a poor college kid. I have no money. My dad's a school teacher. I can't really afford to compete with these kids at the University of Spoiled Daughters. However, it worked out. We ended up getting hired, and then they did. They trained us, and they got us ready to go as loan officers. And then from there, myself and one other gentleman actually were called to do what was called a flow chart, a way to be able to get people from point A to point B and to close them out as a point C. In other words, they called us up, asked us, hey, what do you need at this point in time? Are you looking for a purchase loan, refinance, whatever? And then we would guide them down whatever path they needed to go. Well, we did such a good job of this that the managers all came to us and said, hey, if you guys can create a flow chart with questions, answers, and how to direct people to go, then we've got something special for you. And they did. So after a few months, we provided this information to them. And then they ended up sending us out to our own respective branches to be officers of the bank. And so then my first assignment in a branch was in the Mr. A's building, downtown San Diego.
Oh, wow.
And that was fantastic. I mean, I really met some fantastic clientele. I met some awesome families that would come in and bank with us and so on. And had an opportunity to really just learn about the whole banking model and how they lend money. And so to go back to your original question about what got you into this business, it's kind of a cute, funny little story. My grandfather had a best friend by the name of Klaus Fritzen. God bless him. He's no longer with us. But when I was a kid, every year he would come to 2 barbecues at our house. We'd always have one at the beginning of the summer and one at the end of the summer. And Klaus, every single time he came, very short on words kind of a guy, but he would always ask me a very poignant question. He would say, Greg, when you grow up, what are you going to do? So the first time he said that, I said, well, I guess I'm going to be a police officer. I'd love to be a police officer. And he's all, no, you don't. And I said, okay.
I love those old men.
And he said,
straight to the point.
That's really not what you're going to be doing. And I said, okay. So then obviously as a younger kid, I think I was about 11 or 12 at the time. I said, okay, that's fine. And so I went off and played and did whatever I needed to do. And the next barbecue, he came back and he'd ask me that same question. Hey, when you grow up, what are you going to do? I don't know. Maybe I'll be a fireman. He said, no, you're not. You're not going to be a fireman. I was like, okay. So this went on for a few years. And then finally, I just stopped giving him answers. And I said, what is it, Claus, that you think I need to be doing? He said, I need you to go to school. I need you to get an education. I need you to get into banking and learn how banks lend their money. Learn the rules of money through the bank. Figure out how their business models work. Find out why and how they lend to people, whether it's on the business side, the personal line side, or residential side. He goes, once you learn that, then you can do whatever you want. And I said, really? So I took it to heart. I went to school for business, got into banking, started doing loans, and now I understand how banks lend their money and who they lend it to, which has helped us out tremendously with our business as real estate agents.
Right.
Because I can actually tell whether or not the letter that I receive is nothing more than ink that's on paper.
Right.
I know the questions to ask that other agent and that loan officer to find out if they actually pre-qualify these people or not. And so it does make a difference in our business. And for that, I'm grateful to Klaus Fritzen. And that's really what got me into the real estate side of it.
Yeah.
Again, started off as a lender for 9 years, then jumped over to selling real estate. And I think I did that because there was just so much going on with the internet, computers, people posting stuff in the newspapers about, hey, you can lock in your rate, but nobody ever read the fine print that said your rate's not locked until your loan is approved. And so I was losing more loans because we would get them into their loan programs, lock them in, and then somebody would offer them an interest rate they couldn't get. And that just got to be so burdensome. I just said, I don't want to do this anymore.
Were you making those phone calls and saying, sorry, we can't give you that rate anymore? Or?
I was the one at that point in time that said, I'm not sure that that other person can actually guarantee you that rate.
Eesh.
I said, has your loan been underwritten? No. Has your loan, and at the time, and again, lending has really advanced. Now we have automated underwriting, which really does help out tremendously.
Yeah.
But at that point in time, it was all done manually. So you actually had to get it to an underwriter and let them look at it and decide, is this a loan we really want to deal with? And this was before FICO scores. So people were actually getting credit scores that were either A credit, B credit, C credit, D credit. I mean, and that's how the underwriters underwrote the loans at that point in time, was based on how well you paid your debt. And now they do all this automated underwriting. So now through Fannie and Freddie, they actually have automated systems that allow the lenders to actually see whether or not they're going to have any challenges going through the loan and whether or not they're going to be able to lend to you at the end of this transaction.
Yeah.
And it really has made the business a little bit more efficient and a little bit easier. And now it gives that lender a little bit more confidence about whether they're truly going to lock in somebody now or hold off until they get some more questions answered in their actual background. And so, you know, it's a changing business.
It is a changing business. And you've seen the change. I mean, if you both have started, you know, when it was just on paper.
Yeah. So it's changed that a lot. And again, when I first got into selling real estate, Patti, if you put it in context, Patti actually was a real estate agent before I was.
Yeah.
So she's got more years in real estate than I do. I just came in from the lending side. And so obviously when we met and started working at Coldwell Banker, a lot of people said, well, are you guys working together? No, we're not working together. We still have our own clientele. Yeah. We still have our own markets that we work and so on. And
that was short-lived.
That was short-lived. So why was it short-lived?
Yeah.
So what was the next phone call that you got? And I think that was Prudential calling you.
Oh, when, Spencer called and said, hey, would you guys come over to Prudential? And I'm like, oh, and he goes, well, and I said, well, we can probably go to lunch with you. I just have to talk to Greg. So that's kind of how we went to Prudential. And then we were there for what,
9 years?
9 years?
Yeah.
Wow. So. Together as a team already?
Well, that's where we actually became a team.
That's okay.
Yeah, so I think that we had started a little bit at Coldwell, but I think that our team really took off once we got over to Prudential California Realty, and that's when we really started working a lot together.
Yeah.
So
dating and working at this point.
Dating and working. Yeah. Yes. Yes.
I don't, this face over here. What?
Well, because I think when we made the transition is about the same time that we decided our son was on his way.
Oh, so not just dating anymore. Okay, I see where the face came from. It was set in stone.
So Levi, out of all due respect for my wife, we were still dating.
Okay. You know what? Sometimes it happens. You know?
We've been dating for about 18 months, I think.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like we had just started dating.
It was that kiss under the tree. That's what got her.
I'm telling you.
Well,
Pure
you
power.
know what? In all honesty, he did have a partner. And then once we started dating, it was kind of like, well, what are we doing? You know, why
a business partner.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So over at Coldwell Banker, I actually had an opportunity when I was switching over from being a lender to being a realtor.
Yeah.
I had an agent that wanted to get into the higher end market, but he had a lot of foreclosure accounts. And so he had a lot of transactions to actually allow me to get trained up on quickly to be able to do all the real estate paperwork and so on, to be able to explain it to the clients. And so it was really more of a crash course than that. But in return, I actually brought us more escrows, more higher end escrows, and it allowed us both to actually grow within our businesses. And then after about a year, we both had agreed that we had tried that opportunity together, and now we were ready to move on to our own. So
yeah, and then you got your broker's license
Well, that was actually much later. So we were at a company called Windermere, which was over in La Mesa.
Right.
I knew at that point in time, if I wanted to even entertain the idea about doing loans still and also selling real estate, I wanted to find a company that would actually have that type of a connection for me. And so when I went to Windermere, I was told that Had I gotten my broker's license, then I would be able to do both. Unfortunately, that didn't work out because that didn't come to fruition based on the promises. But you know what? It was a learning lesson in the business. And so now we still just focus on selling the real estate. And I think that's actually worked well for us.
It's a good stepping stone, yeah.
Yeah. You know, there's been a lot of growing in our business. I mean, different experiences, different managers, different leaders. And it's interesting. The one thing I will say that, forgive me, Patty, if I'm saying this for both of us, but the companies that we both have seemed to do well with are companies that are agent-centric, meaning that they really want to focus on the agent first.
Right.
And please forgive me to the listening crowd that might be looking to buy or sell.
Yeah.
But the reality is that if your company focuses inward on their employees first, meaning their loan officers, their real estate agents and such, those individuals will pass that type of service down to you.
100%.
And so being involved in those type of companies created the business model that we later turned into our own company called California Options Real Estate. And we ran with that as our business model from 2012 until all the way up until 2021, where coming out of COVID, we had a lot of reasons why people were starting to talk to us. One of them is we were still doing very well in our market area. And secondly, we were open-minded to talking to other companies because we were still, during that pandemic, having to pay all of the bills for the office, pay the bills for everything else going on in the way of utilities, rents, and such. Yeah. But nobody was supposed to be working in the office. And so we came out of COVID and just said, hey, maybe we should be open-minded. And so we had 3 different companies come talk to us. And the one that really made the most sense to us is who we ended up merging our company with. And I didn't say sold our company to, merged our company with,
right,
which was Keller Williams Realty, San Diego East Foothills. And I think Patty would agree with me on this one. The broker of record, Joe Garzanelli, is probably one of the greatest real estate men that I've ever met in my life. He is the salt, the guy. He makes promises and he delivers on his promises, and then he over-delivers. And so I have been very blessed. I know that Patty feels the same way, that we're both blessed to be able to work in conjunction with him. And it's interesting because when you have somebody like that you work with, some people say for, but when you work with, it really does make a huge difference, and you really want to make that person successful.
Right. And that's real rare too, to have someone like that.
Yeah. You know what? I was going to say, Steve Games and Nida Jones were pretty good when they had Prudential, and when they sold, I think that was what we were missing in the other companies that we had worked with. Kind of self-centered, companies. And Joe is just amazing. I mean, I can't say enough nice things about him.
Yeah.
He's a gem. He really is.
Because in our career, I mean, you got to remember, I've been doing this now for, I believe, over 36 years. And I believe Patty's been in for over 26 or 27 years now. And when you get around those different business models, you do see a difference in how people react and how they treat other people. And let's just be straight up. Your company here, New Venture Escrow, makes people feel important.
Right.
You guys bring a certain personality and a certain kindness to the business when you guys can be just like everybody else. You could just go out there and just try to just churn numbers. And I guess at this point, you're probably doing better than they are because you care about people.
Yeah. And I think that's what we strive on. So what you were hitting home when you were saying that is that those companies that internally take care of your employees and think about the growth of us is going to make us better for you guys in the long term. Not being like, what's your numbers? Why are you not hitting this? That's not your territory. And that's not what we do here.
Right.
Is that we just had our meetings that we do every week yesterday. And that's what we were kind of talking about. We love being here because we're family, and it's just it's a different culture for us. It's very interesting how we're doing things here.
So do you find that a lot of the people that are working hand in hand with you right now do more support than they do competition?
Like other same companies,
within your own company. When you're working for a company where everybody seems to just enjoy working together, there's a lot more camaraderie and there's a lot more support.
I think 100%. I think the competition is friendlier, and it's not driven out of spite or a hatred or anything like that. It's more of a, you can actually have competitions where it's like, oh, hey, I opened so many this week, or,
Right.
you know, it's a good time. Like I said, when we stop taking territories out of the way, the boundaries on our sales reps and our escrow officers, it's so much easier.
Right.
We work as a team instead of against each other. Those companies that internalize it, and when you have people fighting inside, they just break down.
Well, I agree with that 100%.
Yeah.
The other thing that I've noticed about your business that I've enjoyed is that you guys remember to have fun. And
We do
and you
have
have fun in different facets, whether it's, you know, obviously having an office opening, whether it's a Friday golf outing where you come to the clubhouse and
we
you get
appreciate
to challenge
that,
other people, or just in the sense on how you guys interact with the agent market. And you don't realize that the agents do pay attention to what that means.
Yeah.
And so I can tell you right now, the people that I have chosen to do business with, and Patti and I have had plenty of people in our lives in real estate that we've had as service affiliates. And unfortunately, a lot of them, they get to a point where it becomes about them.
Yeah.
And it's not about us. And when we talk about us, we're talking about you as an escrow company and us.
Right.
And how we support each other, how we make each other's business grow.
Well, as I say, we were at our client's house the other day, and they were just raving about Tess. Oh my gosh, she's such a sweetheart.
Oh, that's so good.
Which that was really nice.
Yeah.
I mean, she said, "Oh, she's so special," and I know it's been a long transaction, but they adored Tess.
Well, that's amazing. That's
So,
good to hear.
Yeah, as I say, and that's important too.
And we're just supporting you guys. That's all we're doing. We don't,
Right.
you know, we don't want any, and the escrow officers, it's funny, they don't want to take any credit. They just want to make sure that you guys have a good closing.
Right.
They want to make sure that you're the heroes in the transaction. So then you'll get more business. I mean, that's the whole thing. If you start thinking of business as transactional, those people are replaceable,
Right.
right? It's the relationships you build. And once you build a strong relationship, then you guys grow together, not so much like a revolving door. Like numbers will come, but like when you start thinking of people as just numbers, then you're replaceable.
But it's also important to have a good team.
100%,
And
yeah.
You're only as good as who you have.
Who
working
you
with
have on your team.
That's
Yeah.
right.
That's so true. And so you guys have been in this business long enough to build, you know, a strong relationship, and you've seen stuff happen and change and whatnot. But we really appreciate you, both of you.
Yeah.
I mean, thank you.
Well, and we appreciate you, and we appreciate Courtney, and we appreciate Tanya and everybody else that's come into our business and into our lives and been a part of it. And again, it's kind of an interesting story going back with Courtney, who works with you.
Yeah.
She actually was brand new in the business coming in at the time at California Title.
Yeah.
And I was one of the managers at Prudential at the time. And she came in and she had the great attitude and really just wanted to make a difference and being
Still
involved.
does.
She
And
still does.
that has
She
not
does.
It's
changed
crazy.
in all of these years.
Right? Like there's
Yep.
sometimes in this industry you can get burned out and stuff. And, you know, she knows how to have a good time. And when she gets burned out, she knows where to go to like to get, you know, recharged. But for her, she loves the industry. And I think it's because she loves the people and she's genuine about it. Like I haven't met someone that's more genuine all the time.
Yeah.
It's crazy. So we appreciate you guys. Thank you. What do you love most about working together as a married couple, or as a business partners, basically too, and as a married?
Well, even though we come to a lot of the answers maybe differently, it's always the same answer. We just get there differently.
Yeah.
What I appreciate about Patti is that she actually thinks about things that I don't, in the sense of, hey, what about if we looked at doing it this way? Would this work? And vice versa. I've been able to share a little bit of the loan background to help out on certain things. And then more importantly than that, come up with my own ideas on how things should be done. And what you find is that you're getting to the same place. You're just sometimes getting there at different times. But the reality is we get there.
Yeah.
And so we actually work well together. And I don't know if a lot of other partners do work well together, but we
There's
do.
not. I don't think I could work with my wife.
Yeah.
She's in the industry too. And I'm like, no, I won't. We're not going to be a team someday.
Yeah, as I say, sometimes I truly believe that my weaknesses are Greg's strengths.
Yeah.
And his weaknesses are my
Absolutely.
strengths.
That's amazing.
And-
That's what makes a great partnership.
Right.
Yeah, as I say, and it's not always that way, but
Right.
Definitely we bounce things off each other.
Now, how do you balance that life, your personal life? Because you guys do have life outside of this business.
Right.
And I mean, we talked about it just earlier about being adventurous, going on trips
Right.
and stuff like that. Are you able to turn it off and enjoy each other's company, or do you always find yourself kind of coming back to?
Well, I think when we first started vacationing, I think that I left my phone on too often, and unfortunately, we were getting calls and businesses was
Yeah.
still happening, but it wasn't necessarily allowing us to have the vacations that we wanted to have. So then we got introduced to cruising. And when we got on the cruise, the thing about that is that you could leave a message on your phone, let everybody know that you were going to be gone ahead of time,
Yeah.
who to contact while you're gone,
Or email.
Or email.
or email
yeah.
me, but I would not be returning phone calls during that week. And we put our phone in the safe
Yeah.
inside that boat, and I wouldn't open that safe up until the end of the week to see my phone.
Yeah.
There's been a
And-
few times you got off from the port and you, I got to find some Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
That was probably more to get a message back out or to get an
Yeah.
email back out.
Yeah.
But the reality is that we learned over time that it is okay to
Yeah.
turn your phone off as long as people knew that they were going to be taken care of. And that's really what it gets down to, is that people just want to know that if they have a question or if they have a concern or something comes up in the transaction,
Yeah.
that somebody's going to be taking care of it for them if you're gone.
Right.
So I think it's really just setting the expectation of your client. And unfortunately, I think sometimes that's actually worked against us because we spend so much time hand-holding with our clients to make sure that they have such an exceptional experience
Yeah.
that whoever takes over for us may not give them that same time. And again, it's a learning curve, but
I always think Murphy's Law hits us too.
100%.
We make a trip, plans.
Yeah, exactly.
The next thing you know, everybody's calling.
When you're on vacation, you're doing the most business. It's tough. This industry does not stop.
It does.
And so for both you to be in it,
Right.
it's a little bit tougher, but you've managed to go this long, and it's incredible
Yeah.
to watch the growth. And like you said, you've seen this industry change
right.
from when it was pulling, there was a cord attached to your phone,
Which,
yeah.
it-
To
No, literally.
yeah, no, literally.
No,
big bag.
no, literally.
Yeah.
Back in the day, remember when they used to have not just the block phone, but they used to have the bag phone. I remember way back in those
The
days.
bag phone?
Yeah, so they actually used to have a wireless phone that was in a bag.
Levi's not our age.
Yeah, no doubt.
Wait.
I'm only 35.
Let me hear this bag phone.
So back in the day when they had those block phones that Motorola used
I
to have.
remember the block phone.
Well, Motorola used to also have a phone. It used to be in a bag, and it was a wireless phone.
Tony's confused. That's
But
why
the
I'm
long
asking.
story short, you'd open up bag, you'd talk on the phone. It was just a traveling phone.
It was a traveling phone, like
Yeah.
the first car phone.
It was
basically.
like a purse.
I don't remember
And
that.
it-
I just
and it
remember
was
the.
probably about,
Yeah, it was
this
about the same
big.
size. It was about a little bit
and
bigger
your
than the
phone
block
sat
phone.
like on top of the battery.
How long ago was that? I mean, not how long ago. How
so-
long did they have this? Because I don't remember this contraption. I
Let's put
remember
it-
cell phones.
No, let's put it this way. They moved past that quickly and went
Yeah, I
to
was
the
gonna
they
say-
went to the flip phone right after.
Okay,
So-
that's what it was a.
No, they did not. You had to have your phone installed in your vehicle because there was always a big pack that was
Right.
attached to it.
That was yeah.
So that was a few years, and then finally they got to a little bit different.
To the smaller phones.
Yeah,
And
to
if
the
you paid
smaller.
attention, the phones used to be huge. Then they got small, and now they're getting big again. So
Yeah.
and I think part of that is because we can't see. So since we can't
100%.
see,
This
the
screen right
screens
here
get
is like,
bigger.
yeah.
Yes, I
The
believe it.
font is now at 14. It used to be 11 or 12, and
Yeah, but it's
It's
not
gonna-
just a phone. It's your calculator. It's your computer.
Right.
It's your
Yeah.
phone book. I mean,
Right.
it's amazing. What
there's phone
technology.
books still. No, I know. I got one the other day. I was like, do I keep this? Like, I don't know what to do with a phone book now. There's a lot of generations that don't know what a phone book
So
is.
we have a client. That's what he does. Is he sells yellow pages.
Yeah.
It's still a
And
thing.
he's very
Isn't it-
successful at
yeah.
it. People
Yeah.
still want to have that presence.
I think he and his wife both do that.
Yeah.
At what time is that going to be gone?
I don't know. It's interesting.
It's lasted this long.
As
You know?
people get older and get a little bit more mature, you start to realize that they like the old way of doing things and not the new way of doing things. And so I kind of measure it up to the people that either want Nordstrom service, where they want somebody to basically walk them through. That's our Yellow Book client.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's true.
But
Yeah.
the person that's a little bit more independent, who's a little bit more tech savvy, they're going to be using Google and they're going to be using the computer and they're going to be doing their own research to find what it is that they need to find, and they're going to do it a lot quicker. But they're not going to feel like they had that service because they did it all on their own.
Right.
So
I get that.
that's kind of the only way I can really put that in words, how those two people are going to line up and how the yellow pages are going to stick around. It's going to be on the person that needs your hand to be held.
Yeah.
So
do they do the yellow pages? It's different here because I grew up in Arizona, so I remember like Tucson was Tucson. This is like little neighborhoods in each one.
Mm-hmm.
Do they have neighborhood phone books, or do you,
You know
just like I don't even know how you find? Is it just companies now in there, or is it actual people still have?
Well,
You put your cell phone in there?
I think they do it by the area code.
I gotta look in one.
Yeah.
I think it's area code.
It is area code driven.
But
Okay.
it's all San Diego, but then they break it down.
And is there actual people? Or is it all business? Because I get if it's businesses, and you're still looking through businesses, but like
yeah, I
you used to,
believe-
you used to pay to stay out of it.
What you're asking is two different things.
Okay.
Yellow pages were advertising
Yellow
to
pages
bring
advertising.
people to your business.
Gotcha.
And then the white pages were your listing.
So there are no more white pages.
No, there's still white pages
Really?
too. So there are still certain people that want to still
we
have
haven't
that
gotten
listing.
one in years, but
Yeah.
we used to get them. And it's funny because I have a great aunt that she passed away, bless her heart. But she said she lived in Dallas, and she said if you were anybody, you had your name in that.
You had your name in the.
That's right.
Yeah. That's funny.
It is pretty
That's
fun.
Dallas though. I've lived in Dallas for a year.
you did?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I know. Yeah. Get my name in the phone book. No,
Hey,
I love
whatever
Dallas.
works, whatever
Yeah,
gets you
right?
out there.
Yeah.
Well, we're evolving, and let's talk about technology
Yeah.
because I'm not. Tony, you'll always say this. Seasoned agents. I'm not going to call you old because you're not old. You're just starting.
We're mature.
You're mature. You
Definitely.
you have the knowledge.
We're like wine.
Oh, you're like wine, right? Technology now.
Yeah.
You've seen the change. You've embraced it because I've seen it happen from when you first came in here. And Patty doesn't like being in front of the camera, which I don't know why. We talked about how beautiful she is.
She is.
And now that's all she is. She's on my feed.
Yeah.
I see her face. Congratulations.
It's amazing. Just what you need to see. A couple of 50-year-olds becoming narcissistic. It's fantastic.
But let's say you've made that leap. Because there's people out there that are like you said, you have to
Right.
change with the times or you kind of get left behind
Right.
sort
Right.
of thing. And you've seen the change and now you're making that new change. And do you find it successful? Are you guys having good feedback from it?
We've had fantastic feedback.
That's good.
Yeah, so what's really interesting is that when we go around a lot of the people that we're friends with and or people in Alpine, our own community,
Yeah.
it's funny. A lot of people will say, oh my God, that's amazing. We see all of your guys' content and everything you guys are putting out there in the way of video. And when we were doing static posts, we didn't necessarily get that.
Yeah.
But once we went to the videos, all of a sudden people were like, oh, that's fantastic. You guys are giving great content. We love it. Thank you. And so
Well, see, that's good to
it's
know because you
interesting.
guys I went through your feed and I see all the static posts and then it was kind of like around March.
Yeah.
It was like, let's take this leap, which is March of this year, not too many, like
Yeah.
a few months ago. Like, let's do it. And you're doing it.
Yeah.
We jumped in and again, part of it is because people want to know who you are quickly.
Yeah.
It's a quick rapid fire thing. So
It's the new white pages.
if they like what you have to say and you're relevant
Yellow pages.
and you're bringing to
Yeah.
people information that they need to know right now, that's going to help them, whatever their real estate journey is, that's what we're trying to get to. We're trying to fill that slot so these people will call us.
Right.
And we couldn't do that with a static post.
Right.
What was the biggest fear of getting on camera? Being on camera?
Just being on camera.
Being on camera.
I do not like to be up in front of people. I'm more one-on-one.
Yeah.
I've always been that way, and I don't know. Where my husband, on the other hand, he loves to be up in front
No,
of
he
people.
doesn't.
Oh, gosh. I know, and he doesn't talk very much
It
either.
doesn't at all. But you are one-on-one. It's just you and your camera.
Right.
It's
Well, and I'm learning that.
yeah.
I am. So,
You're your biggest critic, by the way.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You should have nothing to worry about. You are a beautiful woman.
I remind her
Yeah.
that she's the biggest critic of herself because her videos are amazing.
They're really good and they're well thought out.
Yes.
They're very professional.
We're working on it, and I am getting more comfortable. So that's a plus.
Yeah.
I think finding content that's important, because I think it's important for us to educate the population,
Right.
Our next client, to
Yeah.
let them know, hey, this is what we feel is going to be in your best interest. And it's interesting because you go into people's homes and sometimes you kind of hate to tell them, oh, you need to get rid of more stuff. It's not that we want to pick their house apart. It's just
Right.
we want to help you get top dollar for
Of course,
your home.
these are the
Yeah.
the
Right.
things people are looking at. Like
Right.
you were the one post you were talking about the other day, which I love, is you might like this color in your house, but
Yeah.
other people won't. Like, yeah, unfortunately, like that's good. That's good knowledge
Yeah.
because hey, why don't we paint that white or that wall white?
Yeah. Yeah. Tone it down.
Yeah, tone
Make
it down a little
neutral.
bit. Yeah,
Make it,
Right.
you know,
I know what you mean.
yeah, it's
The
dark.
bright orangey burnt purples with the, I get it.
Yeah, I mean, color makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
That's why when you go into a model home, they've picked out these colors that are good for most people.
Right.
You know, they
You
make
can
it
you
neutral.
can envision
Yeah.
yourself
Yeah.
living there.
I guess one of the best open houses we ever did, which was also given to the brokers to come through their own brokers open, is we had a house that had pastel colors that were different in every single room. We had pastel blue, yellow, purple, green, you
was
name it.
Easter
and
egg.
whatever. Yeah, it
That's
literally.
exactly-
Yeah.
And that's exactly what they said. So they came through the house and they said, wow, this is the Easter egg house. And that was actually a drawback. And
Really?
and really what helped that person get that house sold later on down the road was they finally came in and painted the house one color.
Yeah.
And it sold immediately.
Immediately.
Yes. And so, like Patty's saying, a lot of times the information you give to them, it's how you deliver that information.
It is. Yeah.
And I'll be perfectly honest, being a husband and wife team, a lot of times having that type of information come from Patty is received a little bit differently than if I were to say that.
Right.
Because if she's saying that to another person, a wife, whoever, it's going to be received a little bit softer. If I say it, then I look like I'm the bad guy picking their house apart.
100%. I agree with you.
And maybe this guy really just doesn't want my listing.
Yeah.
But that's not the truth. The truth is that we are supposed to be professional. We're supposed to give them, to the best of our ability, the information that's going to help
Yeah.
them sell their home in the shortest amount of time for the most amount of money. And a lot of times that means getting their house ready to go before we hit the market.
Yeah.
Patty's fantastic at that. And I think that shows in her videos that she's been doing.
Yeah.
The thing is when you're selling your home, it's a place you've loved.
Right.
You've lived there. That's where you've had your
Right.
fun. That's
Yeah.
where you've raised your kids or, so it's not an easy sell.
No, it's not. It's not easy to tell
that's
them
where your
like,
heart's
oh,
at."
that color you picked out with your husband, and you did 3 shades of it on the wall for a week, and then you decided to go with it. It's not easy to be like,
Yeah.
let's take that down. Right.
Yeah.
I totally get that.
Or people collect stuff.
Yeah.
We had a client who I just adore. She had gotten rid of a lot of things, and we went back in the house, and I'm like, ooh, she still has a lot more that needs to come out.
Yeah.
And it was really hard, but she had an interior decorator to come in to see what her style was for her next home. And the lady told her, you have still too much stuff. And so, that's, people don't realize having all that stuff really
If
does
you've been
take
in a
it from your
house
home.
long enough, you don't realize, just as a homeowner, you don't realize how much stuff. I've moved
Right.
quite a few times, but our house in Arizona was quite large. We had 2 sheds in the back, and we moved. I was all, that's a very large truck we just filled.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I said, when we moved to Dallas, I'm like, we're not doing it again.
Yeah.
We're purging.
Well, it's exactly it.
Yard
right there.
sale, get out of everything. And we moved down to like a little, what are those little pods?
Right.
The smallest pod you could find. And I was like, that's what we're moving with. And we moved to California, and now
Felt good, huh?
It felt really good. But now as our family's grown, I'm like, where's my garage? What's going on? What are all these bins here? Like what? Like I'm keeping,
Yeah.
first grade portraits of.
Well, it's interesting that you said that and that you called it the purge.
Yeah.
Because I look at it as a process of just cleaning up your life.
Yeah.
There are things that you just don't need anymore. There are things that you don't use, you're never going to use again. And it's not that you're purging them, because in many cases, you might be donating it and somebody else is actually going to benefit from it.
100%.
And if that's the case, there are plenty of nonprofits for you to be able to do that too.
Yep.
However, it's something that you don't need in your life right now. So you're ready to clean your life up. You call it the purge. I call it a next step for you, because at this point in time, the last thing you want to do is take belongings that you'll never use to your next place of living.
Right.
That is just never going to work.
Yeah, that's well put. And I got to train my son. My son's 6, 7. He's going to be 7 Friday, but that's how I clean his toys. I'm like, hey, another little kid would really appreciate having this toy that's been sitting here for the last 6 months to a year, and you haven't touched. And, he gets that.
Yeah.
So donation is
That's
is the
awesome.
biggest thing to do is if you're going to get rid of stuff, donate, because somebody else will want it for sure.
Absolutely. So what did we do with our kids? We did. We donated a lot of it. And that's the only way that we were able to kind of help them out. And I think that they're at that point in their life right now where they both need to figure out what's going and what's staying.
I know. It's tough. When back in the day, as parents, you're very sentimental about stuff, but you got to understand all this artwork that I'm holding from when they're first grade and on. I'm like, okay, realistically, what are we going to do with this?
Right.
We're going to end up handing it to them. We're storing it for them until they become and get their own house and be like, oh, okay, here's your stuff. Yeah, that's what my parents did with me. Like, here's all your stuff. And I went through and I'm like, I don't need any of this.
Yeah. So do you have that rooster made out of newspapers hanging on your wall?
No.
Okay. I just wanted to find out.
Wait, what? Are you into roosters?
My wife is such a great mom that she still has some of their artwork from when they were little kids hanging on the wall. She's great about it. You did. I'll give you credit on that.
So
that was awesome.
It's like a paper mache.
Oh, is that what it is? Paper mache?
Paper mache rooster.
And one's a rooster and then one's a bird. And they're cute. So I framed them and hung them on the wall. And
I will say I do have ornaments of when I made.
Yeah.
But my parents got rid of them because they don't do, they do a small Christmas tree now, but they like pass it on to me. So I've got one of, picture that you did back in like first grade or, third grade of my face that I put on there. I'm like, oh, that's looking like me. Yeah. But like little things like that. But,
I used to save everything and now I've gotten better.
Yeah.
Like, okay, what's the special pieces that the kids might like? And I know our daughter's like, Mom, get rid of it.
I know.
I don't care about it. And I said, well, I'll just hang on to it because you might appreciate it when you get a little bit older.
When you have a family. Yeah.
Do that. Look at their mom and go, why did she move all this trash to our house?
100%. Well, let's talk about one last thing before we move on here. Yeah. I know we've been, how long have we been talking, Tony?
An hour. And 10.
Told you. Wow. See, right? When I said I was going to be an hour, you're like, an hour, I got things to do. I told you it's going to fly by. Let's talk about Alpine a little bit.
Yeah.
What do you love about that little town?
Well, I'll tell you what I love, and then Patty can tell you what she loves, because they're a little bit different.
Yeah.
So when we first moved to Alpine, which was in we closed escrow May of 2003, moved in June of 2003, and almost immediately got involved with the town, enjoyed the parades that they were having. They used to have 3 parades a year. One was put on for the 4th of July. Another one was put on September by, at that time, the Lions Club, which was a Viejas Day parade. And then we would always have our Winter Festival, which was another parade that was done where we would actually have a snow hill somewhere in the town, usually at one of the shopping centers or over at the community center. And the kids would actually ride little saucers down these little hills that were made out of ice and snow.
Yeah.
And so it was just a great community to be involved in. Everybody at that point in time was very much about taking care of the kids. And then obviously as things moved on, the town got a little bit bigger. Things changed a little bit.
Yeah.
The pandemic hit. A lot of people, unfortunately, have decided to start moving from there. And so we've lost a lot of really great people out of the town that we've actually grown up with in that town. And our kids have been able to get to know their kids and such. But the town as a whole, it's just about community. And I explained this one time to somebody. I said, you can go into any city and you can find a community, and typically your community is going to be within 1 to 2 blocks of where you live. It's where you can ride your bicycle. It's where you can walk to. It's where your parents might know other parents within that 2 or 3 block radius. But the town of Alpine is different. When you have lived up there for about a year, it's difficult to even get through the grocery store. You say hi to everybody. Oh. So getting ice cream at the beginning of your shopping trip is a no-no.
No. You know how to you get the bread.
You got to do that at the very end of your trip. Make that the thing that you grab right before you get in line. Because I'm pretty sure you're going to talk to somebody when you get in line too, that you know.
That's funny.
But I haven't really found that in any other community. Even that small little town of Alameda that I used to live in as a kid is not the same as Alpine. So Alpine is truly a community as a whole. What they do nowadays is really mind-blowing. I mean, they really still do focus on the kids after all of these years. But the town is starting to get some smart growth. We're starting to see a little bit of sprawl towards the eastern part of Alpine there, and I think that that's going to continue to happen. So I think Alpine's going to be a great place for people to live for a long time.
Right.
So I think we kind of agree. I mean, it's the community that I love. Mm-hmm. It was a great place to raise our kids. You know, we have Kiwanis, we have the Women's Club, we have Seroptimus. We have a lot of different clubs that are in the town that really try to give back there's scholarships, and I don't know. I think that's part of it, is a sense of belonging. I think we have 2 or 3 elementary schools. We used to have 3. I think we're down to 2 now. But we have a Spanish immersion program. So there's a lot of different things that are available for the families. Just good quality people.
Yeah.
It's
going to be booming
remote.
again, because it's been coming up a lot lately. I've heard a lot of great things about Alpine. I just found out my dad's cousin lives out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
So,
it's a great place.
There's a couple areas that they're going to develop. We were just told, I think, about 70 to 80 homes in this one little area. Greg goes, oh, that's kind of interesting. So, there's definitely new homes that are coming up. We don't have a high school other than a charter school now, which is excellent. I mean, has a great reputation. Hopefully, we will get our high school.
I was going to say, once they put a high school out there, it's going to be...
it's a game changer.
It's a game changer.
Yeah, and so Alpine's always had good schools, especially the grade schools and Joe McQueen Middle School. Yeah. However, the charter schools that are in our town are just amazing, above and beyond. So not only is the Heights Charter School, which is basically from kindergarten all the way up through 8th grade, the person that runs that school, her name is Diana White. She does an amazing job with that. Our kids ended up going through both. They went through the Alpine Union School District schools that they had there, but they also got switched over to the charter school just to be able to do some of the Spanish that they had to offer there, plus give our kids a different way of learning that wasn't being taught in the schools that they were previously going to. And now we didn't have a high school that's tied to Grossmont High School Union District, but we do have that high school that's literacy charter.
Yeah.
And they are unbelievable. So they're doing real well in Alpine now. So even though we don't have a public high school, we do have that charter high school.
It's
and it
Liberty.
Liberty Charter.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Liberty
Thank
Charter.
you. I stand corrected.
Yeah.
Liberty Charter. And they're doing an amazing job. So happy to have them in the community of Alpine. And again, the more that the kids can do and stay within Alpine, the better the town is always going to be.
100%, because it comes back. Your kids will come back.
It does.
And start having families.
And we've had kids that have had cancer, and it's amazing to see the town rally behind them.
That's incredible.
To support them.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just, I don't know if you really see that down the hill.
Right.
I'm not going to say that you don't see it down the hill, but definitely it's people who want to be involved and care about each other.
Yeah.
So
it's a great community.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And how many days of sunshine?
320 plus days of sunshine a year.
I think that's the biggest selling point right now for anybody. Let's go out to Alpine.
Okay, San Diego's weather on a bad day
I
is
know.
a good day.
I know.
In a lot of
hey,
other
when we're at
places.
67 all year round, when we fluctuate 5 degrees from night to day, it's pretty nice.
Well, when I looked on the weather for next week, because we've got to go sign our daughter up for her classes at the University of Alabama, they have a 2-day freshman orientation that she's got to go to. And it's supposed to be 87 degrees and very humid while we're there. And I'm thinking, here we go.
No, 87 with 100 degree, which makes it feel like 99.
Yeah. So
it's tough.
She's going to learn. She's going to learn quickly. What clothes she's going to need to take to school.
She might be home pretty quick after one semester. She might be
excited.
Is she?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
She said, "Oh my gosh, it's going to be like Florida, Mom."
Oh yeah, she'll love
good.
it.
Yeah, she's good.
Well, that's exciting.
Yeah.
Well, congratulations to all
Thank
your
you.
success, and I can't wait to see what happens. I mean, with your videos, I love watching them come out. Both of you.
Thank you.
I think we need the cruise hack. I want to hear that next
All right.
time.
Okay.
All right.
Any hack, any life hacks you guys have. You guys been in this industry for such a long time. Let's get some life hacks out there.
Be happy to
You
do
know
it.
what? That's a great idea.
Yeah, right.
Yes.
Just any little thing. Maybe with kids. I mean, I've always talked about hey, I should write a book about the things that I've done wrong parenting, or not done wrong, but just experience.
That you would have changed.
That what I probably would have been like, oh, somebody should know this,
But the thing is everybody has different kids. Kids react different.
Yeah, they do. Well, what's funny is my brother and sister-in-law are having little babies, and all of a sudden their kid had a rash, and they call me, and my wife calls me, and I think it was like a I don't know, 3-way call or whatever, and they're like, Levi, one of our kids had it. What do you think? What was wrong? I was like, diapers. It was diapers. We randomly changed diapers. We ran out of diapers one night, went to a cheaper brand. We couldn't find the one we were using, and sure enough, they're like, we just changed his diapers. I was like, that was it.
That's it.
Like just little life hacks right there. Like, yeah.
Yep.
Well, we've been fortunate. Like I said, we've got a great family, but more importantly than that, we've got a great business, and we've got really amazing clients that we've had. They've stayed by us. They've been very loyal to us.
Yeah.
And we've had, at this point in our career, we've had a majority of our business come by referral.
Yeah.
And so we've been blessed in that aspect.
That's the best feeling.
It is. It is. Except for this last year, I started to notice that a lot of our clients were moving out of state. And I'm starting to realize that, all of our friends are moving. So
they'll be back.
What's the writing on the wall?
Where are they going?
They're all over. They're going to Texas. They're going to Idaho. They're going to Oregon. They're going to Mississippi. They're going to Florida. They're just going. And they're just saying, hey, now's a good opportunity to try something new. And they may be back. Some of the people have actually held on to their homes and used them as rentals, and maybe that's their way of telling us, hey, we're not done yet. We're coming back.
Yeah.
So
I've heard you can't beat the weather.
You can't beat the weather,
San Diego,
right?
That's the problem.
That's the problem. Come on back.
Yeah.
come on back.
Spend one summer out,
That's it.
Florida or
That's
Arizona.
it.
Yeah, figure out that humidity and that heat.
Yeah.
I know. I'm not ready for it. All right, so I'm going to finish the podcast with another fun series real quick. It's called Finish the Sentence. Are you ready?
I'll do my best.
Are you ready, Patty? He can't answer this one for you. This is all
he
on your
always
own.
does. If
I
you
know.
pay attention.
I know. I'm going to make you answer these ones. All right. Well, you go first then. I laugh when.
I look at my husband. No.
Yeah. You do laugh. You have a great laugh. I laugh when. What makes you laugh?
What makes me laugh? You know what? Just humor.
Just humor. Anything. Just life.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Greg, what is your answer?
What was the question?
I laugh when.
I laugh at everything. I laugh at life.
That's why I love you guys.
I
This is
laugh
so
at life.
easy.
I laugh at myself. I laugh at things that are going on in the world. I laugh, at my wife. I laugh at little things that we do that make no sense. I just laugh because I know that there's a lot of pressure in this world, and just having a little bit of levity sometimes just breaks the ice and makes things just a little bit better.
Yeah.
So I'm constantly trying to be that person that just brings a little bit of levity to everybody, so that they realize that, hey, life is actually a wonderful thing. And maybe sometimes what we're going through isn't a final. And so if you can just laugh about it, figure out what it is that you need to do to change it, everything is good.
Yeah. Good answers. Well, I love it when.
I love it when my wife cooks.
Ooh,
Yes.
You cook. What's your favorite dish?
Oh, what's my favorite dish?
That she cooks.
Oh my God, I'm not going to say anything negative about any of them, because the fact of the matter is, she grew up in and around a restaurant, an Italian restaurant, and so she's excellent with all Italian foods. She's fantastic with Mexican foods. I don't know. I enjoy eating at home more than I enjoy eating out.
Yeah.
So I just think that what I get is a better quality of food, and it costs me a lot less. And I have a wonderful wife who loves to cook, and I told her I love to eat. So it's a perfect match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patty, what's your maiden name?
Watwood?
Is that Italian?
No.
Oh, okay.
I think it's like English, Scottish.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
And what you love it when?
You know what? There's so much in life to love.
There's no wrong answer.
No, there's not.
Yeah.
I love ice cream, but that's kind of a
You
known
do.
thing.
Wait, that is on her Facebook page. I'm just gonna let you know. It is
do love
first
it.
too.
Uh-huh.
Ice cream
I love
lover.
ice cream.
What's your favorite ice cream? Now I gotta know. Next time I'll have it
I
ready
like,
for you.
I like Haagen-Dazs.
Do you really?
I like all that fat.
Which flavor though?
Vanilla Swiss almond used to be my favorite, but there's a couple, and it's interesting because when you're on the East Coast, they have different flavors than when you're here in California.
Really? Is Haagen-Dazs an East Coast company?
It's Dryers, I think, is who owns it now.
Oh, okay.
So I think they're kind of nationwide, but it's just interesting. There was a honey flavor that I haven't seen here, but
It was on the East Coast?
Yeah.
Dang,
so
you're like,
it's
God, I
kinda
need that honey flavor back.
They want me to go back to the side.
Yeah, it makes you. That's why they do that. It makes you travel.
Right.
Keep that economy strong. You know, gotta get my honey
and
ice
I
cream.
do love to travel.
Yeah.
Honestly,
Yeah.
I
You love
like
it when you travel.
I do.
Yeah,
And I like to see new places.
that's amazing.
So I know we've been fortunate that we've been able to travel a lot, and it seems like we like to go back to the same places, but I also like to go and take a little adventure.
Yeah. Well, you'll be going to Alabama a lot, so prepare. But that's what you should tell your kids. That's another life hack there is tell your kids somewhere you like to visit. Go to school where I want to be.
Right. Well,
not for yourself, for us.
That's a funny story you said that.
Oh, okay.
So everybody kept saying, how did your daughter apply to the University of Alabama?
Yeah.
And I said, well, in September, the University of Alabama actually had a 1 week where they had free application. And so I helped her with her application that week. And I said, hey, let's go ahead and apply. It doesn't cost you anything. Let's see what happens. And then she applied to other schools, and Alabama came back, and they kept sending her emails and letters in the mail. And
you know what? Bama was just on it.
And then the next thing you know, she got her acceptance letter from the University of Alabama, and you want to watch a kid's face light up. And then all of a sudden, I think she realized, oh, my God, it's 2,000 miles away. This could be good and this could be bad. But it ended up being where she needed to be.
Yeah.
So I think that the University of Alabama will be a great school for her. It's a big school. It'll be a good school and a good experience for her. And what we're looking forward to seeing in 4 years is how much growth she had from being away from home.
Yeah, right.
So this is her opportunity to spread her wings, make her decisions, do her things. But there was a little bit of selfishness in that too, and that is because I want to see my daughter go to a school where they're national champions.
They have a good football team.
In football.
Yeah.
Sometime in the next 4 years.
Right,
Baseball.
Basketball, no joke. All those sports. Yeah, it's a powerhouse over there.
Yeah. So honestly, it's unbelievable what the SEC has brought in the way of athletes and so on. But they also have an amazing educational platform for these kids to be able to get to the next step in life.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to it.
Well, good. Well, I'll go 2 last questions here. I admire people who
inspire me. I love it when somebody can come across and make me feel compelled to want to do better, to do something that maybe I haven't done before. And a lot of it is because of how they inspired me to do it. And I'm not saying go out and jump off a bridge. I'm saying do something that's going to make a difference in your life and in somebody else's.
Yeah.
And that's what I look for in life.
Yeah. Patty? I admire people who...
that are sincere, down to earth, humble. There's a lot of people out there that have a lot of money. I just think when they're humble, it's pretty amazing to see that. And sincere. I mean... I don't know. I had an uncle that I just admired so much.
Just genuine.
Just an amazing.
Yeah.
A gentle, kind soul. Sweetest man. So, I don't know. Just sincerity in people. That's
all we want.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just, it's I feel like it's lost. It's getting lost. And so it's like hard to find these days. And we try to instill it. And it goes back to mentors. We talked about mentors. I don't think there's a lot of mentors out there that are, I don't know. It's a different world.
Yeah, it is.
It's a little different.
And I think that's kind of some of the things Greg and I have spoke about is just, it seems like everybody's about me and instant. As much as I love our daughter, sometimes I am like, oh, she lives for the moment. Which in some aspects is good. But she also needs to look forward to the future as well. So.
Yeah.
That's absolutely right.
Yeah. All right, last one here. The advice I would give a new agent.
Work hard. You know what? It's a great business. It really is. And you have to really believe in the business. And I remember being brand new and I was like, oh my gosh. But in the big picture of it, you have to work hard. Keep in touch with your clients. There's so much money to be made in real estate. And I believe in home ownership. I mean, that was really what got me into it. I never really got to answer that question, but I believe that's how you can build your wealth in this business is, and not a business, but buy your home, keep your home. So I think you have to believe in that. Believe in the home ownership part of it, not just selling to make the money. You have to invest in it as well.
Yeah.
And that's, I don't know.
Yeah.
I would answer it probably similar but different. I think that some of the best sage advice I would give to a new agent is believe in yourself. Don't always listen to what somebody else is sharing with you. And the example I would give them of that is people always talk about the farm. And the farm is typically a neighborhood.
Right.
And they would say, go out, put out this many cards, do this many door knocks and such. I look at a farm differently. I look at a farm as people. So if I'm going to create a farm, I would want to go and talk to as many attorneys as I can. I would want to talk to people that have mass influence on who they might be able to refer to me. And in doing so, that becomes my farm.
Yeah.
Whereas the old school farming way may take a lot longer. It works. Don't get me wrong. It works. But it really just takes a lot of time to get built up into that area so that you become that area expert. Because we've known people in our business that have knocked on doors, walked through neighborhoods, and they knew who that person was as he was walking through the neighborhood. And people would say hi, and they would be grateful that he was dropping something new off to them. But it took years to get to that point.
Right.
And I think for a new agent that wants to come in, for them to be successful, they have to start selling homes immediately. And to do that, you have to be a little bit more forward thinking with regards to a different way of looking at a farm. So I would encourage them to go out and find people of mass influence, people that would be great referral sources for them, whether it be probate, attorneys that handle divorce, estate planners, whatever it may be. Go out and find that and make that your farm in addition to your current sphere, because there are a lot of people that have very deep rooted, families that are here in San Diego County, and a lot of them can lean on that and lean on the fact that they've got all of these relationships and cousins and moms and aunts and uncles and everything else that are in and around. But for the person that doesn't have that, they're going to need to try to figure out how to get the business as quickly as they can. And part of that is where they farm.
Yeah.
So,
and especially if you're not only a new agent, but you're new to the city of San Diego, find those affiliates, find those partnerships, build those relationships outside of just, trying to throw your face onto everything. And it's like, Right.
And I think that this question kind of feeds into that whole thing about social media. I think that social media has allowed that agent that nobody didn't know to be in the public's eye immediately.
Right. It's your business card.
Your business card is what you bring to that video, to that static post, to the people of whoever it is that's reading your post, because there are people that read it. It tells you what your engagements are.
Yeah.
So people are either opening it, watching it, reading it, whatever it is. That is now, like you said, your business card. That is you coming to them. And you don't have to do that by knocking on a door.
Yeah.
You just have to put together relevant content that people are willing to open.
Right.
Yeah, as I say, I had that one listing in Bay Park, and I got, 3 or 4?
3 more listings out of it?
3 more listings out of it.
Really?
And
Yeah.
I did it just listed, and then I had a lady call me, and I got another deal off of that, and then another deal. So, that's the old school sending out. It's now EDDM plus is what Every Door Direct.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that is a good way of getting business.
Yes.
But you're established.
But that's old school. But that was when I started.
Oh, that was when you started.
That was when I started.
Got
I
it.
had gotten a listing and cute little house. I wanted my husband to buy it, but he didn't want to buy it.
Oops.
That's all there was back then, though. You had to be
$250. You know what it's worth today.
Oh man, we won't talk about prices like that. Oh, come on, Greg.
And that's why I'm saying,
Pull out your wallet.
it's important to invest in it too.
It
if
is.
you can, I think it's so important to invest in it and to understand that part of it.
I'm new to this industry. I mean, I've been only like 3 years in, but as I speak to more, I go to client appreciation. I talk to the new homeowners and stuff like that. They were like, I wish I would have known this, military especially.
Right.
I wish I would have known this 20 years ago that I could have multifamily or I could be using this as, it's like, me too. Like I real estate is everything. Mm-hmm. Try to own your home.
Well, and it's interesting that you said that because we just received a text 2 days ago from a client that ended up, who was a friend of ours, who was part of one of the Kiwanis clubs in Lakeside, who literally moved to Texas. His family's loving it. They've got just such a great setup. But he's been watching our videos, and he said, if only I knew this before we moved from California.
Yeah.
And to me, that was kind of a reassuring affirmation that said, we're doing the right thing.
You are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing is, I mean, real estate has changed so much. It's not the paper anymore. It's the video. It's getting in front of people and touching your sphere.
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing is getting in touch with your sphere and just trying to work them.
Yeah.
And asking for the business. I know that's probably another fear I have is even asking for business.
I know. It's hard. But it comes because you don't start the conversation as like, I'm a realtor.
Right.
You start the conversation like, oh, how's your day been? Like, well, what's our weather going to be like? Are you going to go see a Padres? Are you excited about the Padres? Are you, what wine, where do you like to be? And then you start building, and then they finally ask you, what do you do? Oh, I'm a realtor. Oh, you are? Oh my goodness. You know, that's you build relationship before you already start thinking of them as a transaction. That's what makes you guys amazing.
Right. And I think that's important because I know I was talking to a friend the other day and she goes, how do you know so much? I go, well, we sell real estate.
Yeah.
That's what we do. And she goes, oh my goodness, I did not know that.
Yeah.
So it was.
You do have to remind your friends and family every once in a while, like, hey, I can give referral fees outside of the state, but I know, I get that. But no, it's being who you are.
Right.
Yeah. I think that's how you get out and get business. You don't need to drive.
Yeah. Like Patti said, and it's funny because as we've gotten along in the years in the business, a lot of it's just being genuine, being available, and being knowledgeable, and providing that type of service to somebody is really what brings people back to us. And so we're very thankful, and I will tell everybody we are very thankful for all of the relationships that we've been able to establish over all of these years.
Well, awesome. Well, totally I'm very thankful for having you guys on the show.
Oh
Thank you.
Thank you for spending it. It's a Wednesday. I know, taking your time out to come see us and everything. Please look in these cameras and tell them where they can find you, where you're at, where you're going.
So Greg and Patti Fox, the Fox team, Keller Williams Realty. We are in Alpine, California. We service San Diego County. However, at this point in time, we would love to be able to be your agents for life. We don't want to just be a one transaction type of an agent for you. We want to be there to be your referral source after the escrow closes. And if there's anything that we can do at this point in time that's going to make your real estate journey work for you, we want to be there for you. So give us a call.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks again.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the What's Next podcast with a great episode with the Fox team. Tony, let everybody know where they can find us.
Well, everybody can find us in YouTube. You guys know what to do. Go subscribe, ring the bell, leave a comment. Levi loves to answer those comments. I keep saying that because he really does. So please comment down below. All right. Go follow us on Instagram, TikTok. Yes, we are there too. Also, download the podcast. Listen to it while you're driving. We would love to hear from you. So get in touch. All right. Thank you, guys.
All right.
Peace.
Take us out.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.